We all commended Apple when it created features like app tracking transparency and hindered Facebook from tracking our data and limiting the company of Mark Zuckerberg to show users their ads. However, turns out we were wrong. After Apple limited other companies, now the largest company in the world is planning to create its own version of iOS ads. So, very soon, you might be getting far more ads from Apple on your iPhone than you think. These are changes that will affect us significantly very soon, and it's important, so let's explain it. While other digital behemoths build massive advertising businesses, Apple stayed committed to its hardware and software offerings. Despite having App Store ads at the top of its search results for a long time, Apple's 2019 ad income was only $500 million. Comparatively, Facebook generated $69 billion in advertising income in 2019, while Amazon generated $13 billion. When Apple released iOS 14.5 in April 2021, though, everything changed. While iOS 14.5 included a number of enhancements, the most significant by far was a revised approach to user privacy. Targeted advertising got considerably more challenging with this upgrade. Let's find out how Apple's ad policy has evolved since. Before version 14.5, software development kits, SDKs, and application programming interfaces, APIs, integrated into various programs, allowed third-party websites like Facebook and Google to access your data. This modification, which Apple refers to as App Tracking Transparency (ATT), has proven to be quite successful. Currently, only 20% of users choose to allow third-party monitoring. In an effort to find its next significant source of money, Apple plans to extend adverts to additional parts of your iPhone and iPad. We need to address the big issue at hand, which is how Apple's privacy initiatives have prevented third-party marketing on its platform, before we even begin to discuss how the firm may grow its advertising business. Apple introduced a function called App Tracking Transparency, or ATT, in 2021. Customers may choose whether apps can follow them across other websites and mobile applications, which is a crucial tool for advertisers to collect information and subsequently provide better targeted adverts. It is difficult to criticize Apple for implementing the functionality because it is entirely sensible. The decision to be tracked should be up to the user. There is no doubt, however, that ATT's actions have resulted in significant revenue losses for both large and small businesses. You might not feel too sorry for social network behemoths like Meta Platforms and Snap, who assert that Apple's modifications have cost them billions of revenue, but smaller developers also complain that the feature has destroyed their companies. In light of this, what you're about to read might sound a little ironic. Apple plans to gradually grow its own advertising company. Let's start by discussing the current situation. Display advertisements may now be seen inside Apple's News and Stocks applications, as well as in the App Store on the iPhone, iPad, and Mac. The App Store also has search marketing that resembles Google. In addition, Apple launched TV Plus ads for its collaboration with Major League Baseball. The display advertising in the News and Stocks apps is identical to those you may see on an ad-supported web page. The App Store's advertisements are for actual programs, which Apple customers certainly find more valuable than mortgage rates. Some customers might find it annoying that Apple included advertisements in the News and Stocks programs. The iPhone is marketed to be a high-end item. If you spend $1,000 or more to get one, do you wish to feel as though Apple is trying to extort additional money from you merely to enjoy its basic features? Currently, publishers receive a share of ad income from the Today page of the News app, but it's unclear how much. Apple also lets content creators include advertisements inside their works while still retaining the bulk of the money. Surprisingly, if you pay $10 a month for News Plus, albeit it's a lower amount, Today adverts also display. Even behind a paywall, advertisements are widespread on news websites, but they are often uncommon on paid iOS services. And it feels like a big shift from when Steve Jobs confidently declared that iCloud would have no ads when he introduced it in 2011. Another hilarious aspect of this situation is that the company's advertising system selects which advertisements to display based on information from your Apple account and its other products. The business reports that 78% of iOS 15 users have disabled the app personalization function, which can be found under Apple Advertising in the Privacy and Security section of the Settings app. Then, why are Apple applications exempt from the requirement to get users' consent via a pop-up message is a valid question. Other ATT-related apps have the same outcome. Apple claims that the system doesn't track you between apps and websites run by other businesses because of this. ATT was created to stop it from happening. A third-party app doesn't have to display a pop-up if it doesn't monitor users across other third-party applications and websites. Currently, pop-up adverts may be seen on the search bar of the App Store's suggested panel. Apple will then soon add advertisements to the Primary Today tab and the sites where third-party apps are downloaded. Such advertising varied somewhat in the App Store. Developers may pay to have their app appear in search results for phrases like basketball or car racing, for example. Future goals for the IT behemoth are more expansive. A few months ago, Apple's marketing division began to integrate itself within the commercial services sector. Instead of Peter Stern, the deputy services head, Todd Teresi, the vice president in control of the ad group, started to report to Eddie Q, the head of the service, once again. When Apple's in-app iAd system was still in operation, it was discontinued in 2016, Teresi previously reported to Q. During Apple's latest financial call, the ad business was again mentioned, but not in a good way. The company experienced certain challenges relating to COVID, according to Chief Executive Officer Tim Cook and Chief Financial Officer Luca Maestri. Cook called it a wonderful exploration tool for app developers, sounding devoted to the company nonetheless. More was spoken about it than the Apple Card, AirPods, augmented reality, artificial intelligence, health and wellness products, and several other significant corporate efforts on the call. Teresi has advocated for greatly growing the business inside the advertisements group. He aims to expand the $4 billion in yearly income it now generates to double digits. Apple must thus step up its efforts. We anticipate that the creator of the iPhone will ultimately add search advertisements to maps. Additionally, it will probably include them in digital marketplaces like Apple Books and Apple Podcasts. And TV Plus's numerous tiers might produce more advertising, just as Netflix Inc., Walt Disney Co., and Warner Bros. Discovery Inc. are doing with their streaming services. Having said that, we don't think Apple will start running advertisements from inside third-party apps anytime soon. Beginning in 2010, Apple attempted and failed to do that with iAd. Internally, the idea of integrating search advertisements into Apple Maps has previously been investigated. Similar to search advertisements in the App Store, this functionality most likely operates similarly. For example, a Japanese restaurant may pay to be listed first in the neighborhood when people type in sushi. You already understand the concept if you've used Yelp. Publishers of books and podcasts might pay for their content to rank higher in search results or advertising included inside the applications. Publishers might sell volumes within the Apple's Books program for a very long period, and podcast downloads might potentially be accompanied by ads. Meanwhile, an ad-supported TV Plus may provide older programming at a reduced cost and aid in the promotion of the premium service. The only question that remains is whether Apple's consumers, who value confidentiality and straightforward interfaces, are prepared to put up with additional advertising. Other news includes a sharp reduction in purchases by Apple. The iPhone manufacturer acquired many businesses over the past several years that resulted in significant breakthroughs. Consider Siri, which started as a company. Without Apple's acquisition of that business in 2010, its ambitious foray into voice assistants and artificial intelligence could not have taken place. The transactions Authentic and PrimeSense, which gave rise to Touch ID and Face ID, are also notable. That habit of closing deals has continued over time, leading to the release of new applications like Apple Music, Apple News, and the updated weather app in iOS 16. The company has acquired well over 100 companies since the present leadership has been in charge, although takeovers have significantly decreased over the last 2 years. Apple's M&A expenditures for the fiscal year 2021 were just $33 million. Comparing that to what competitors like Microsoft Corporation, Meta Platforms, and Amazon.com spend is absurdly low. So far this year, recent filings show that Apple has only invested $169 million. And it's been a tough year for Apple with various scandals and lawsuits. For example, on Monday, Elon Musk slammed Apple's widely criticized practice of taking a 30% cut of revenue from transactions within the App Store, calling it definitely not acceptable. In response to reporting European regulators' claims that Apple abused its market leadership to stifle competition for its mobile payment service, Apple Pay. Tesla CEO Elon Musk said that he had doubts about the company's practices. Apple Store is like having a 30% tax on the internet, Musk said. Well, that's it for today.